This portion of tips and tricks is dedicated towards instruction. And so the first tip is to spend your class time to eventually help you save time in the long run. Spend some of that time with kids doing makeup work, spend some of that class time doing homework, get them started on it. And ideally, this will help you reduce the number of emails that you get from students asking for help, asking for their makeup work, turning it in, if you can establish some routines and some dedicated time and space for your students to accomplish that. Then another tip for instruction is to use Nearpod. They have pre-made slides, so you can use this to enhance your lessons. And ideally, the result will be less time planning for you. So here is Nearpod. You will have to log in with your .NET account, but it's an automatic login. And from your home page, you have Nearpod content here on the left-hand side. And so if you search their library, there are a bunch of different ways you can search or information by standard or state, by your subject, by grades, and then there are a bunch of featured Nearpods here. So you can search around, divide and conquer with your PLC to use Nearpod. And then if you haven't used Nearpod before, there are teacher resources where you can attend a webinar. They help you get started. They have an FAQ. So Nearpod is a interactive PowerPoint. It's an interactive slide deck. And it's a great way to have kids engage with it, and they can take quizzes so they can get grades, they can get feedback, they can collaborate. There are a variety of layouts to using Nearpod slides. And then the last tip for instruction is to ask the kids. Use Google Forms. Ask them what their experience has been like, what they don't like, any suggestions that they have. So this will focus your planning and your grading to match their needs. These are the voices that count the most in your classes. And so finding out what they need or what they don't need, like I said, will help you focus that time. This portion of the tips and tricks is to discuss grading. Most of this is going to take place in Canvas, even though your gradebook is in Synergy. So the first tip is to use quizzes. It's an easy and effective way to get grades. They're a great way to do warm-ups because they get graded immediately. They can provide feedback to students in real time. And if you click on moderate this quiz during class, it will allow you to see who has opened it, how many attempts. And so this allows you to see if students aren't attending live classes, that they're still working on the quiz. And so this option is from your home page, go to quizzes. And when you are in the quiz, where Speed Grader usually is, there's a settings gear and it says moderate this quiz. So you click here and then it will give you your students, the attempts, the time, how many attempts they have left, if you have created a limit, and what their score has been. So this is real time when you are in class if students are completing a quiz or an assignment that you are using as a quiz. So, don't be limited by the title of it. You can use this as a quick check, as an easy way to provide immediate feedback to your students. So the next trick is using audio feedback. And this is probably the quickest way to provide feedback as opposed to typing or adding media content. It can take a bit of time to load, but the suggestion is to use it for kids that you know aren't reading your comments, sometimes the audio might reach them better. So to do this, you go to your assignments or to your gradebook, however you like to access SpeedGrader. And then the student work will pop up and you have three little icons. Usually you type here, you type your comments, great job, keep at it, resubmit. But here there are other options. You can attach files, you can attach media, and here is the speech recognition. So you're going to click that button. It may prompt you to allow your microphone, and then you click the record button, and your feedback should pop up. Oh, and so you may just need to be careful and enunciate well so your feedback is recorded properly. And so if something didn't convey well, you can always go back and type it and then set it. So there is audio feedback. The next tip is to be reasonable with your comments and your feedback. You want your kids to have constructive feedback so that they improve next time. And a great way to do that is to use a rubric. It takes a little bit of time to create it up front, but if you have some generic rubrics, then it can help you on the back end grading and providing those feedback comments because you aren't spending as much time doing individual comments. So rubrics are a great tip, shortcut, hack. And to do that, again, so from the home page, there are two ways. If you have an assignment already that you want to attach a rubric to or create a rubric for, you click on the assignment and it takes you to like the preview page. And then here you can add a rubric. And then there are a couple ways. You can find one that Canvas already has and you can customize it. You can upload your own rubric, or here you can create one. So if this is going to be my standard rubric and I want this criteria to be conjugation, agreement, the subject, pronoun, and verb, agree. I want it to be out of 5 points. I can change this for whatever it needs to be, and then I can add satisfactory, and then I can do 3 points. Maybe more descriptive in your reading titles. Okay. Fair, or, and then no marks. And you can be you can be more descriptive in what each of the criteria are, and then you can add other criteria as well. I can duplicate that if I like the ratings that I've put in, and then I can just change the criteria. So there are some smart ways to get around it, and then you can see it's already adding up my totals. If you need more information about doing rubrics, from our PD page, one of the modules is all about my MCPS classroom in Canvas. This sheet has tons of links, how-to guides and videos, and one of them is to add a rubric. And it walks you through more detail about what all of these options are and creating rubrics, uploading your own rubrics, finding rubrics, all of that. So that's, again, a little bit of time in advance, but then you can use it for multiple assignments and hopefully save some time when you are grading. The last tip is to use message students who in SpeedGrader when you are grading assignments. This is a grading / makeup work / communication tip, but it is very effective. So again, from your course, you are going to go to grades, which is where your grade book is. And for each assignment, there are 3 dots when you hover over the title. And when you click that, you have a drop-down menu. You can go back to SpeedGrader if you want. But here, this message student who will give you 4 options. You can email students who haven't submitted them yet, if you haven't graded them yet, if they scored less than or they scored more than. So it gives you 4 different options. So best practice, kids who haven't submitted this assignment, it's already here for you. And then please turn this in by X date. You can include the observers, so it goes to parents and then the message. Best practice is to take a screenshot of this because this communication will not be documented in the contact log on Synergy, right? Because Canvas and Synergy don't talk in that way. They only talk with grade syncing. So if you have other questions about Canvas and looking for other tips and tricks for grading, please make sure to fill out the tech question survey at the end of the entire presentation so that we can have your questions addressed, if not at the school level, by our technology implement specialist. Thank you. This portion of tips and tricks is focused around organization. And the first tip is to use the starred function in Google Drive. If you have files that you frequently visit and you need to find them really quickly, then the starred function is the best way to do that. And you can do this for docs, sheets, slides, whatever you need. And so within, if you are in the slides, for example, there's always a star icon here. And if you click on that, it then illuminates and it is now in your starred folder. So if you go to your drive, on the left-hand side, there's the recent, which is great if there's things that you just worked on yesterday or the day before, but the starred is where it landed. And so then it's in alpha order where you want to sort it. And so there it is, tips and tricks. When I click on it, I always have the option to unstar it, remove it from starred. And I can also do that whenever I am in the overarching view of Google Drive. I can star a folder by clicking on the 3 dots and add it to starred, or any type of document, slides, sheets, whatever. You can see here that this is already in my starred because it has a star next to it. So again, pretty simple trick to just saving a little bit of time for you to find the things that you always need. The second is around emails, around Outlook, to set up folders and your focused inbox to sort through the chaos of all the emails that you receive on a daily basis. So from webmail, you have your favorites up at the top, but then you also have your inbox. And if you left click on your inbox, right click on your inbox, you can create new subfolders. You can call them whatever you like, and then they show up in alpha order. So I have multiple folders, subfolders, and I just dump emails in there, read or unread, so I know to come back to who sent this, what am I looking for. And then also there is the focused and the other inbox. And the focused are emails that come from people within our organization. and sometimes a little bit of spam gets in. And then the other inbox is for mass mailings like your ERSKI emails or newsletters or things that you receive. And so to separate your inboxes, click on the settings gear and just search focused inbox. And it will ask you, do you want Outlook to sort them? And yes, sort them into focused and other. And so then at least that also tries to separate some of the chaos with all the emails that you're getting. And then you can spend most of your time in your focused inbox. Next, a tip from another teacher about morning routine, putting out announcements and emailing students. So that kind of communication just goes out first thing before class starts. And then referring the students to the modules or wherever you're posting this information that you want them to see. So that was a tip from a coworker with their routine. Whatever announcements or emails you are sending to your students in communication. Another tip is around your modules. And so if you have set up modules the way that you like that, you can copy and paste them from week to week and then just insert different pages or insert different links. And so it can be very helpful when you have text headers, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and things indented to build kind of an outline or a scaffold for your students. And to copy and paste a module, you just click on the 3 dots in the module heading bar and click duplicate. Now, fortunately, it will tell you that it's the copy, so then you can rename it. And fortunately, it just goes right below it. It doesn't send it all the way to the bottom. You can also build modules week to week in kind of reverse order. So starting with second quarter, for example, the modules I have built here are in reverse order, but they're just not published for students. So I knew I wanted my modules organized this way: quarter 1, week 11, quarter 1, week 10. And I built them in reverse chronological order because I know that when I add a module, it just gets added to the bottom. And so instead of building from September 1 to November and then having to inverse the modules, I built November to September. Your next tip is to make Google Slides for every class that contain specific for particularly your absent students. And hopefully this will result in fewer emails coming from those absent students. And so if you look at our weekly update Google Slides as an example, it is one long chunk of slides, and you don't have to post out, you can keep just this week's slides, but then you can have them also running in total for students who have extended absences, and then posting those, which may also help accompany your recording. Tip is it's a larger tip, a larger organization with building a routine. And so if you have questions about this, we can look at a calendar, visualize it. But this is kind of your chunking, your backwards planning to reduce the number of emails you need to send in a week. So the suggestion is to set up your deadlines in chunks. So not every assignment has an individual due date or deadline, but For example, weeks 4 have a deadline of October 16th. So you are chunking this for your students that anything in these 3 weeks, 4, 5, 6, is due on this one day. If you can, stagger those deadlines based on your preps. So Spanish 1 is 10/16, and Spanish 2, 1 and 2, that prep is on the 9th. So then I'm not receiving all of this work from all of my classes all at the same time. The work for me is also broken up as it is for my students. So then when that deadline approaches, so for example, this Friday is the 16th, then I format an email with the list of assignments that are due on the 16th. So all of them. And then I can copy and paste that email and customize it for each student. You know, so-and-so turned in assignment 1, 2, 3, but I'm missing 5, 6. And then go down your list that way. So the result here is that you are focusing on a group of assignments and a group of students at once, not individual assignments for all your students. And so this teacher said that it narrowed her contact from 2 classes, you know, instead of 5 classes, you know, 1 prep, 2 classes, because of the staggering of the deadlines. And so if you have further questions about tips and tricks, or just general questions about Synergy, Canvas, or other tech items, please complete the tech survey at the end of this entire presentation. So we can either answer them in-house, or we are looking for a tech hour session with our technology instructional specialist. Thank you. This portion of tips and tricks is around communication. So the first tip is to always click on Add to Contact Log when you are in Synergy email. It is one less step for you when you are going to email or composing your email to document that communication with students and parents. And we will revisit this in just a minute. The next tip is when you are creating emails to students and parents about missing assignments. So as a deadline approaches, or as you are coming up on an amnesty day or a makeup day, format an email with all the assignments up to that point that you are going to grant amnesty for, or you're going to have the students work on during the makeup session, and create that email, craft it carefully, because this will be your master email. And then you can copy and paste it to different students, and then just delete the different items that that particular student has turned in. And so it's one email, again, a little bit of time at the beginning to craft that email, but then an easy process to go through and let your students know what they are missing and what they need to turn in. So it's, again, it's quick communication, and then hopefully it makes your job easier that you're not receiving a whole lot of emails with what's my makeup work and what do I have to turn in, that can flood your inbox. So lastly, we're going to talk about Synergy options, and this is we're going to get back to that add to contact log. There are 4 ways to use Synergy to communicate. Some are more effective and efficient than others. And first, it's called log student contact. And when you are on the home screen where you take attendance, you will click on the student picture or the EduPoint logo, like where the picture is supposed to be. And then this menu pops up, the menu on the left. And then when you click log student contact, this box pops up. And this is really important for documenting phone calls, not really emails. Because when you look at the outcome, it's made contact, left a message, or need to follow up, or other. And so this is, you know, first line of communication, first outreach is a phone call. When you write in the person contacted box, I usually will describe it by the descriptors in Synergy. So mom cell, mom work, dad work, or home phone. And then I will write in the comments the synopsis of the conversation, or if I found a different number. For example, home phone was the aunt's cell phone. So she gave me the home phone, so I updated it here. And this goes directly to the contact log. So it's, again, very easy, 1-2 clicks to log the contact. Easiest way to document phone calls. Then you have communication, the communication link from this overarching drop-down menu. And this is for sending emails to students. It automatically selects all of the 2 boxes for the student and the parent or the guardian. You have the option to add all the students' teachers. Just note that the homeroom and the advisory teachers are also on this list. So you probably don't need to include the homeroom teacher, and you know, the advisory teacher is, you know, has information about attendance, but not grades. So depending on what you want to go for. And so then you can also CC the administrator. So if you are sending an email for the student well-being team, you definitely want to include the administrator. Type in your subject, and then here with contact log is where you're going to click that box. It will post it automatically to the student contact log. It's a great addition. And then the contact category is the topic, grades, attendance. I'm not even sure, there's a lot of different options. And then you type in your message, and then when you're ready to send, you actually have to scroll all the way back up to the top to click send, because, you know, Synergy. And then the third option is actually your Synergy email inbox. This is probably the least effective way to email your students, because you have to search for the person you want to email. So from the home page, you click on the mail icon and your inbox pops up. You click on the green button to compose an email, and this is the view that you see. You have a lot of options of who to send an email to. I think you have like almost, it seems unlimited. But when you click on the to box, this inset pops up, and then you can search for staff, parents, students, classes, any groups that you've created. And if you have a class, it will help filter that route for you. Again, click add to contact log. Very easy to send it to the contact, so you don't have to duplicate your efforts. And then click the contact category, grades, attendance, and all those options are there for you to type your message, and then click send. So it's available to you. I don't recommend it nearly as much as the communication function from the student profile. This is what the contact log looks like when you are trying to search to see if other teachers have reached out. You click on the student picture and click student. Across the top, you see contact log, and then the history will be there. And there will be emails and phone calls, all dependent on if teachers are using the log student contact organization. The last thing that I want to share is the student notes, but I really don't recommend using this as any kind of contact log because it's not, I don't think it's designed to do that. And so student notes is more of a temporary thing that if you notice something odd, it's really a great feature when we're in the building and face-to-face and like kids are moving from 7 classes. But you click on the little icon here and it will allow you to write a note. And then when you save it, it is visible to all of the teachers for 24 hours. So if it's day A, the day B teachers won't see this communication. Like, Kate's mom lost her job last week and she's having a hard time coming to class. Where that may not be a contact log thing, like it's a temporary thing to notify teachers. And so that's what Student Notes is designed to do. You can view the history, it will save, but again, it's not supposed to be used as a contact log. I just don't think it's designed that way. And so that is the communication portion. If you have questions about Synergy or Canvas communication or other tech issues, please complete this with the survey. Either we will answer them in-house or we are considering having a tech hour with our technology instructional specialist so she can answer some of our higher level questions that we haven't been able to answer yet. Thanks. This part of the tips and tricks is about Zoom. And so the first is when you're sharing your screen, the screen kind of goes black. And so when you are sharing your screen, there are two options at the bottom of the share screen option. When you click share screen, the pop-up video comes up, and there are two options on a desktop, not on a Chromebook. And you have to unclick the second option to optimize the video, and then it'll be fixed. Second is to use breakout rooms for one-on-one conferences with students to provide feedback and check-ins. The result is hopefully reducing communication, reducing the need for a lot of comments with that student after giving him or her some guidance on what's going on in your class. There is a new option with breakout rooms that students can choose which breakout room they want to go to. And I'm not sure if I'll be able to demonstrate it. I'm hoping. Let's see what I see. Let me try. Still no. Okay. I'll have to do a screencastify on this, but you can open your breakout rooms, rename them, and then have students decide which room they want to join. So it's a pretty cool feature now. And your tips for Zoom. Sorry, one last thing. If you have further questions on technology, Synergy, Canvas, or anything here that we are not able to address at the school level, please complete this survey, and we are trying to arrange a tech help hour with our technology instructional specialist.